welcome to the Gaming Network podcast. I'm Eli, and today we have different people with me today. Anthony's not here this week, so I brought in a bunch of friends who know the topic we're talking about today, to their knowledge of experience of playing. I have Tui today.
Hi.
I have Pilly as always.
Malolele.
And I have Tops.
What's up?
These guys, today, our main focus on this Gaming Network podcast episode is Dark Souls. Generally, we're going to be talking about the whole series, we're going to talk about Bloodborne, we're going to talk about Demon Souls, and we're going to be talking wide variety of it. So guys, overall, what do you rate the series? In your time of playing, what do you rate FromSoft's?
10 out of 10.
10 out of
Love it so much.
Why?
Because it really introduces, well, to me personally, it really introduced the whole concept of, get good. If you're bad at the game, there's no tricks, there's no shortcuts, you just have to get good. Unless you have a really good interconnection and a friend that got good.
Yeah, I felt like that in, I think, Dark Souls 1. I had a friend who knew how to play, but we both sucked at the same time. So we got good. We got good, finally.
That's good.
Well, what about you guys? What do you guys give it?
I suppose I'd give it a 10 out of 10 too. I've seen nothing that I could pointedly point at and be like, that is a negative every time, because the next playthrough, it changed. And it was not that anymore. It was just, I sucked. It's literally get good.
I would say that one issue that kind of plagues the series is frame rate drop.
Wow.
Yeah, the frame rate can drop, for instance, in Dark Souls 1, Blighttown. Holy crap, the frame rate.
DLC.
It's like a snail.
DLC.
Well, can you blame Blighttown? I mean...
I can blame Blighttown, and I always will.
Even enemies you can't see are attacking something or someone somewhere.
That's true. Even just standing there, you can die.
Honestly, I'd never had a problem with the frame rate drop in Blighttown. Never had that problem.
You played on PC, though.
No, I played on 360.
Oh.
I played with you, yo. I played for so
That's true.
long on the 360 with you.
You got lucky. I don't know what happened.
I don't know
but
what it is.
It's like you don't see... It's like, you know how frame rate drop works? It's like it skips time.
Dude, I
in
played on a
between each
computer
frame.
that when I tried to do the DLC for Manus, for the final boss in the DLC, it told me my frame rate was too low to play ever.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It's also I think they really, really got better after Dark Souls 1 with it. But in Dark Souls, oh my gosh, some of the areas, they weren't unplayable. Still enjoyed the game, but it was noticeably just unappealing, I would say.
Okay.
Was it Dark Souls 1 that you had major troubles connecting with people? Was that Demon Souls?
Yeah, the thing is, Demon Souls, you had major trouble connecting with people. Dark Souls 1, you had a lot of trouble connecting with people. Dark Souls 2, it became easier. And then Dark Souls 3, I think they really have a system that's pretty easy to use.
What about Bloodborne? Is Bloodborne?
Oh, yeah, Bloodborne was
easy.
Bloodborne was like the test to see what the multiplayer things that they would do with Dark Souls 3. Of course it wasn't. It was its own game and stuff like that. But I think with this stuff, they introduced the network password that you could use to only connect with your friends and stuff like that. And they just brought it over to Dark Souls 3, and it was like a seamless transition.
Wow, that's actually solid. I like the password for Dark Souls 3. I really do. The one problem I had was with Demon Souls, when you first played, it was only on the PlayStation, so the network connectivity was horrendous. I remember trying to connect with one dude. I saw his gamer tag. I'm like, oh, cool. I clicked on it, waited. I went through a boss, waited. And it said, finally failed. Come on!
After you beat the boss he was supposed to help you with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fail.
That's crazy.
Okay, so what I was thinking in this, we would, best to worst. Best to worst. I want you guys' full opinion. I don't care. Arguments, anything. I want to start with the worst game off the series. What's the worst one?
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Okay. Just because it was first?
Well, because
No,
for
because
me
it
personally,
sucked.
going through Demon Souls is super, super, super easy up until you got to just one specific boss, which was the iron something spider boss. I wrecked its so many times until it did one move, just one, and it insta-killed me no matter if I block, dodge, whatever. Ran to literally back to the beginning of the map, still insta-killed me. One hit.
It's pretty ridiculous. I can't say it's impossible, because obviously there's people that have beaten it. I just don't understand. How did you do it? Tell me, please.
Leave a comment. If you ever actually beaten Demon Souls, tell them how to beat that boss.
I don't understand. I don't understand because on top of the AoE move that destroys you, it has this move that it covers you in spider webs. And it makes it like you can't roll, you can't move very fast, you can't use your endurance. It's bull. You can't get away. I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of thing that you can do to get past it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. So we all agree the worst one is Demon Souls, because I do agree with that. That Demon Souls, it is nostalgic. It did start like everything for us for this whole thing, but it is garbage. It's pioneering.
Here's where our opinions are going to differ, though. What's the next one? What's the next worst for you guys?
Dark Souls 2.
I also say Dark Souls 2.
What? Hit me with the facts, my bro.
All right. Well,
Okay,
before we
what's
get into the
yours?
facts, what's yours, Pilly?
Dark Souls 1.
Dark Souls 1 is the next worst for me too.
Whoa!
Whoa, no,
Drag it.
sorry. That PvP mechanics is such garbage. Are you
What
kidding?
about the PvP in Dark Souls 1?
That is way more better than Dark Souls 2,
It was
where
much
basically
better
you
than
could
Dark
parry it,
Souls 2.
you could backstab a dude, but they act like a parry, and you're behind him, and you get the parry kill.
That's not the game. That's the lag. That's a connection. That's a network connection.
Too many
And plus,
too many bosses. I feel like
Too many bosses?
Yes.
That's like the whole stick of the game.
no, it's the fact that in Dark Souls 2 there were so many bosses that I'm like. To me, it was too much. Like I'm right now playing it, and I'm in the DLC, and I'm like, can you not be creative with other bosses?
Holy
They're
crap.
running out of ideas. They're running. Come on,
They're all so individual.
I see.
No,
I see what you're saying.
I'm in the
saying.
ice area in the DLC. I just faced the pet, and I'm just went to where I found 2 of the same pet.
That's true.
Same.
That's true. Same DLC. 2 of the bosses. One of the bosses is this giant tiger thing.
That's invisible. That if you
That's
don't
invisible.
get the eye,
If
yeah.
you don't get the eye. And then there's another boss in the same DLC where it's that same tiger, but it's 2 of them. So I can get behind that specific situation.
It's repetitive, and it's the fact that they're just recopying bosses. Sif is the Rat King. Do not lie to me that Sif is not the...
Sif came first, though.
Yeah, Sif.
Okay, and I would say the Rat King is very different because it has the weapon degradation part in it, and it has little minions going in after you.
Yeah, but that's the only difference. It does the same
And it's
attack
optional,
pattern.
so just don't fight him.
No, the attack pattern is the exact same.
That's true. All right, well, what about the Dark... Oh, all right, well, we're not even getting into Dark Souls 3 yet. So,
For
Dark
me
Souls...
personally, it's just the life gems. Like, you never know when to use a life gem, when to use the Estus Blast, and then we go to use either one, you get slapped by so much shit that by the time it even goes off, you're dead.
Life gems made the game for casuals.
I would have to say that the life gems is a blight on the face of Dark Souls 2, and I agree that is a terrible addition to the game, and I wish it was never in it. However, I still think Dark Souls 1 is worse. Just
Why?
because the frame rate drops in Blighttown and certain other places that I can't name off the top of my head. I personally had some frame rate issues in the Deep Below, I think, where you fight the gaping dragon.
I had no problems.
Oh, the
there.
depths?
Yeah, the depths, that's what it's called.
The depths?
Also, for some reason, I know it's because I'm trash, but the Capra Demon is bull. Those dogs are
It is 'cause
trash.
You're trash.
You're trash, yo. Sorry, the first thing you do is you walk in the room, you dodge roll twice, and you run up the stairs, let the dogs come up, and basically the Capra Demon is basically a drop kill.
Those freaking dogs, man, they always got me. I don't know what it is. They almost got me.
Just suck at dodging
Always.
in Dark Souls 1. That's just the conclusion.
Well, in all the other games, I'm dodging is everything.
But
And parrying.
see, the thing is, by the point with Dark Souls, like, 3 and 2, the dodge rolling was actually improved over time. But
I would say, yeah.
But the fact is to me, Dark Souls 2, it was just the hitbox on some characters was just absolute trash.
And I also hate the whole parrying thing. Like, you parry them, you have to wait for them to lay down on the ground pretty much, and then you can
Yeah.
counter them. Like it
that's
takes too much time, in my opinion. 'Cause
I
by
don't
the time
know.
you parry one person, if there's another person coming, he's already at your face. So you have to try
Well-
to dodge him and then counter the other guy.
I feel like it. So I think it's a really big with the Dark Souls 2 parrying. If you fall when you fall into the ground, I love it because it's like it's that moment where it's like I fucked up. Like yeah, I messed up so bad that I had to sit down and wait for him to attack me. Like that's how bad it was. Because if you don't get parried, you're just good, you know. But then again, if you're going against someone who's just as good, or if not better, they can parry you no matter what. However, that being said, you can avoid it. Like there's ways to avoid it. Like, you know, but it's all about strategy and neutral inside of fighting and, you know, like knowing when to attack and when to back up and when to block and when to parry and stuff like that. I mean, not blocking because I'm a dex build, but still.
But me personally, I don't like just if I get parried for facing someone, I want to see myself laying on the ground and just anticipate, are they going to go for the kill or let me get back up? Like I prefer just
It's all mind games.
let it be instantaneous and then me cry my soul out a little bit over it.
And,
That's great.
and the one thing I didn't like, I know this made the game a little harder for Dark Souls 2, a little harder, that you lost your health competitively. They took away that for every other game. Like, what would happen in Dark Souls 3, this is what they do now, where you have this certain amount of health, but when you become human, you get more. But it's like, you die so many times, goes to half health.
So my counter argument to that is that just don't die.
Yeah,
Because
that's a bullshit answer. That's
I would say
that's
because
bullshit.
The reason why they put it in is because it makes death matter in this video game. You don't want to die because you'll lose a part of your maximum HP. So like not dying becomes so important, and so you either have to prepare and like be ready to fight, or if you don't think about it, or if you just like run into every situation and keep dying, then you lose a lot of your health, and it's a punishment for being reckless or careless. And I understand that there are a lot of bullshit deaths you get in the whole Souls series.
There's a lot right there.
But that aside, I think if you're good enough, as long as you can't, like, I don't die to like mobs. I don't die to the regular enemies anymore. I usually just die to bosses. Unless I'm ambushed or something, you know, because they like to set traps and ambushes all the time in their games.
Yeah. Another thing that I personally didn't like about Dark Souls 2 was there was quite a lot of bonfires. More than like one. Because I like the fact that you had to like, where's the next bonfire? Where's the next bonfire? Where's the next bonfire?
I had that feeling in Dark Souls 2, though. And I think it's because of the increasing amount of bosses, is that there's so many bonfires. Because I mean, you really get a diverse amount of like locations in Dark Souls 2. You know, you go to the lava place with the castle with a lot of lava, and you go to the freaking Zeldora with the giant spider.
There's
boss.
usually two bosses in each area. There was usually one or two
Yeah, at
bosses
least.
in each area. And for me, I'm like, that's so many bosses. Like for Dark Souls 1, there's 26. But to face all 26, that was a challenge.
I did it.
Yeah, I've done it too. Yeah, I beat the whole DLC almost solo except Artorias.
Artorias. I wrecked Artorias with my great scythe. Dex build for life.
That was the biggest bullshit weapon. Let's talk about that.
The scaling is amazing. That's all I have to say.
Scaling in all the games were on its
I
own.
also
Yeah.
don't like any of the weapons in Dark Souls 2. Like, none of them stand out to me personally.
Yeah.
What?
But that's just to me.
No, but here's the thing. You strength build?
No.
No?
Definitely
Also
not.
Dex.
He's Dex build.
Yeah.
On
For-
same build.
So for me, Dark Souls 2 literally focused nothing but Dex. For real. That is
no way.
No,
Like,
every weapon
The Fume Greatsword, the Greatsword, they're like the
No, they're-
what's it called?
they're-
The Matador Greatsword. There's some really good.
There's a
strength
handful. But here's the thing. Every time I play with a friend online and he's a Dex build to death, he'll die on the deathbed Dex build. But literally every weapon we were picking up, Dex build, better for Dex, better for Dex, better for Dex. Every weapon was a Dex.
Interesting.
It was
That's how the world
disgusting.
is supposed to be. This is not a world where you stand and you take a hit. If you take a hit, you're dead. That's how it's meant to be. You know, they kind of drill that into you from the beginning. If you can't dodge, be prepared to take a lot of damage.
Well,
And if
I
you
would
do
say-
that, then wreck a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's I kind of agree with that, but I would also say that the strength build, that's why there's shields. You don't need to dodge if you have the best shields. And so I think strength builds need to focus a lot more on shields and two-hand weapons rather than if there's more shields and two-handed weapons, or if there's more dex weapons than shields and two-handed weapons, then that's unfortunate. But it just makes it
Dex,
so that your
ice,
strength builds are like unique, because not a lot of people will go for that.
A Dex ice rapier that shoots fucking ice at you. That was bull.
It's amazing.
It's garbage, and that hit thing is bull. Dodging it is just like, oh, still hits you because you dodged so far
dodged
away.
back and it still hits you. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
why don't you like 1? Why is 1 your second least favorite?
Because 2 they literally improved from 1. 1 was made, and then from 1 they made it better. Like, they added new mechanics. They want you to adventure. They gave you items that you have to seek out something else to whatever they call the lockstones.
Yeah, Pharaoh's Lockstones.
Pharaoh's lockstones. You have to seek out a specific area. Just as you're adventuring, you can't just accidentally run into some of these. You have to actively seek. You have to adventure, and it gives you this sense of like that you are in this world, and you're
You
not
have to-
just
you have to
like running through
explore.
the- Yeah, you have to explore. They
Okay,
want
you're
you
talking
to
good
explore.
about Dark Souls, but he asked you what you didn't like about Dark Souls 1.
There's not really much.
I
Dark
would-
Souls 1 was amazing. It's just that Dark Souls 2 is better.
I would say, okay, so my problems with Dark Souls 1, the frame rate drops in some areas. It's not a huge gripe, but it's a gripe nonetheless. Also, on top of that, I know it's due to the time that it came out, the time frame that it came out, like not how much time they spent on it, but the year that it came out compared to the year that Dark Souls 2 came out. But the mechanics are clunky. They're clunky. They weren't clunky when I first played it, but when I picked up Dark Souls 2, it's just so much smoother. And so looking back to Dark Souls 1, if I go back and play it, it's weird and it's clunky. The dodging is not as smooth. It's not. And so it just comes down to mechanically speaking, Dark
Get
Souls 2 Mechanically speaking, Dark Souls 2 was made better than Dark Souls 1 because they made Dark Souls 1 first. And that's why I put Dark Souls 1 under Dark Souls 2.
See, I have no problems with any of the games. That's the thing. Like,
That's true. I love all of them. But that being said, none of the games beat Dark Souls 1 in level design. Level design in Dark Souls 1 was amazing. Everything connects and everything, but in a way that like you get to the end of one area and you're in an area that you've already been in. It's like, what? I had no idea. It's like you can't, like, unless you have incredible spatial reasoning, you can't be like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, what the heck? How did I end up in Archdragon's Peak or whatever, you know? Like, how did I end up in, like, how did I start in Depths, go down to Blighttown, come back up, and end up at the freaking Firelink Shrine?
see, the one thing I like about Dark Souls 1 that Dark Souls 2 does not have is in Dark Souls 1, you can't respect.
True.
I've never found a respec ever. And the fact
Yeah, I don't
is
think
that
it exists.
in Dark Souls 2, you can respect up to like 6 times a playthrough. That's
Yeah, with the soul, but the soul vessels are rare and they're hard to get unless you know exactly what you're doing.
Gotta be good.
Yeah, but the fact is,
But, okay,
that's
so-
the thing. You got to start from minute 1 in Dark Souls 1. Oh, what class am I going? What build am I doing?
But, like, for new players and players that like to try more than one build but don't have the time or motivation to make another character, I think it's important to have that respec capability, because being able to like, what if you get to the end of the game and your stats are just shit because you didn't know what you're doing, or you were just, you know, maybe you were trying something but it just didn't work out?
Get good.
Well, then
Get good and
so you're
grind.
telling me that you would rather tell someone to start a new character than to just respect their points?
Yeah.
But
That's mass. That's savage.
They'll
that is savage. I wouldn't say it's a bad
They
thing.
can go through it faster, you know. They actually have
They know
some
what
idea
they know what they're doing.
That's true, but everyone has a life, everyone has a job. Not a lot of people have enough time to be
If you have enough
putting all
time
that
to
time into Dark
go
Souls.
try to respect your points just to be the boss, you might as well just start a new character and build them exactly the way you want. It's just now you have an idea what you want.
If
But
you're
it's also-
at, like nearing the end of the game, and you have shit stats, and you could respec, or you could start a new character, you would tell them, no. The boss right before the last boss, start a new character.
Because I mean, with Dark Souls anyway, you beat the game, 9 times 10, you start a new game anyway. So it's pretty much starting a new character, but you still have your stats, but much harder. So it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, but you get to start out with all the items you had, all the stats you had, all the experience you have, you know? Like, I would say that, I think respecking is an important part of the game. I would not disagree with making it a more rare occurrence, because it's true that you can get probably 5 or 6.
I honestly think
respecs in one
if there's a
playthrough.
respec, it's once. You don't you don't get more than one.
I would say at least 2, because what if you respec and then it's like, oh wow, this is trash, I shouldn't have done that. At least be able to respec back.
No, you made the decision. It's Dark Souls. You play to get anal fucked.
Yeah,
That's literally that's
That's like, as much as I'm not dissing on the respecking in Dark Souls in general. Like, it's a good idea because it helps the new people, get into the game more.
And
But it
like
takes
worst
away
case
from
scenario,
to me, it takes away from the whole you're gonna die thing, because you go to boss, it whoops your ass. You're like, okay, I'll just shouldn't build it out. You go to shouldn't build and you whoop it. All the challenge of it's gone.
well, I would
That's
then
if you're skilled as it if I try to do dex build, I'll get spanked. I play strength build for a reason. That's because that's how I play. If
Yeah.
I were to respec and do dex and I fuck up every time,
But see,
and I'm like, damn it, I can't.
but
my play style is completely fucked for the whole game because I don't play like
See,
that.
right now I'm playing on Dark Souls 1 a Dex magic build, and I'm like, and I'm dealing
Good
with
luck.
it. I'm dealing with it. I am so dealing with it. I'm right now in Arolondo, just trying to get through it, and I'm like, I know it sucks. It sucks ass
Yeah.
right now. This is some of the
That's the best build in my opinion, just not in Dark Souls.
not in Dark Souls 1
No.
for sure.
Because in Dark Souls, as
The-
much as I
the
loved
sorceries
and
are
hate
very
Dark Souls
limited.
1, sorcery sucks.
Yeah,
Sorcery
the
time
casting time
is
is
all them
insanely
suck.
slow.
in
It is.
comparison.
It is. But it's a challenge. And
True. It is.
what if I was so frustrated? I'm like, I want to keep the character though. I can't go respec, so I'm like, I just keep trying.
Yeah, well,
Again,
I see your argument. I see your argument, and I'm not disagreeing with it. However, there's this crazy counter argument, super simple, but it beats out your argument. Just don't respec.
No,
That makes sense. That makes
I'm
sense.
sorry. No,
Like,
you can just
you're
avoid it
tempted. You're
yourself.
tempted.
It's like-
you're tempted with the chance of doing it. That's what gets
But
the
temptation-
That's your fault.
That's
though.
how.
That's
well,
not. That's not the
that's
game's
how
fault. That's
good the
your
game
fault.
was created. Like the game was created in such a way that you're tempted to do it. So you just have to not do it. It's like you just if you can just not do it. And I understand that it's tempting, and I understand that it's hard not to do it, especially if it's getting really, really hard and you're dying against everything. And it's like, oh, maybe I'll just respec. But if you respec, then it's like you lose all the character that you created. And some people are okay with that. And so that's why I agree with the respec staying in the game. But some people aren't, so I would just say avoid it.
But essentially, what you just said is they're pretty much starting a new character without losing anything, but they're starting a new character.
Yeah. I mean,
That-
it is essentially starting a new character.
that's
with all the items you
bull.
have.
That is bull. Like,
It's the same thing as beating the game,
yeah, but it's,
except you didn't earn it.
Exactly.
no, I didn't earn it.
When you respec, I mean. You don't earn it when you respec.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
you do earn the respec, but you don't earn the, beating the game and starting over.
I find that that's what makes Dark Souls 1 a challenge, where it's like the respecking. Yes, in Dark Souls 2, you don't have to do it, but the fact is you're in Dark Souls 1. You beat the game, and you're like, I did it without restart, without just changing my stats or anything. In Dark Souls 2, you can beat the game with a respect and go, oh, I beat the game, but I didn't beat it with my original build that I wanted to do.
I would say that
It
for people with less pride, like me, who has no pride, I'm okay with the respec, and I'm okay with doing that, and not, I don't feel the shame or anything like that. But I feel like for people like you who have that feeling, like what you were just explaining, having is like you were putting so much emphasis on beating it with the original build that you wanted to do. There's that pride there. There's that there's something on the line that you don't want to respec, and you don't want to do that, but it's there and it's tempting and it's frustrating.
That's what
But
makes
I don't
it-
think that's reason
that's
enough
what
to
makes
take
That
it out
just
of the
adds
game.
more to the fact of that just adds more to the honor that you did it without respecing. If you choose not to respec, then that adds even more to the fact that I did it by my stats. with my original stats. I didn't respec even though I had the choice.
Which is awesome.
Like,
Which is even
for me,
better.
I also personally agree with Eli just because of the fact, like, when my very first character in Dark Souls was I did eventually beat the game too. I had no idea absolutely what the fuck I was doing. His build was so fucking trash that I struggled all throughout the game. But because respec isn't a thing in Dark Souls 1,
You just had to deal with
I
it.
had to get good.
Yeah.
You gotta get good with the
Ki-
shit. With the things you made a bad decision. You gotta get good with shit.
Yeah.
You put shit down, and then you have to deal with your own shit. But then with 2, you can kind of it doesn't change the difficulty. It doesn't make anything any easier.
True.
It's just if you change it and your play style doesn't change either. If you're better with those stats, it's because you play with those stats specifically. Oh god, I lost my train of thought.
You play better with those stats that you had. You
But
built
that's
your character in
also-
that way because you play better. And so respecing to try something else, it's entirely the respecing person's fault for messing it up for themselves.
It's also
Yeah.
debatable because someone like me, I'm not necessarily a one type of play style. Like, whatever my build is, that's what my play style is. Like, if I go Dex, I'll dodge and parry my my life depends on it. If I go strength build, I'll just block and just hit them. Like,
with that big dick evidence.
Okay, so I'm feeling like this is a neutral standpoint right
Yeah,
here.
well, the thing is that neither of us are wrong. So it's not like we're going to get to the end of argument and be like, oh, okay, I agree. You know,
Yeah.
we just have to kind of agree to disagree. But moving on, so after Dark Souls 1, so the worst is Demon Souls, next is Dark Souls 1 for me, and Dark Souls 2 for you, Eli, and Tops, and Dark Souls 1 for Pilly. So what's the next worst one after
Dark
that
Souls
for you guys?
1.
Yeah.
Okay, Dark Souls 2 is the next worst for me.
I think Dark Souls 2 is the next one.
So we just have those two switched.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
moving on to the next one. 'cause
Yeah,
we-
Yeah, since we did just talk
Yeah.
about... Well, I didn't really talk a lot. So I would like to say about Dark Souls 2 that I like the amount of bosses that they have. I like the diversity they have in not only the amount of bosses, but the different locations and landscapes that you get to see and explore. I would just say that Life Gems is an atrocity. Please get rid of it. I don't like
Ghetto
it.
window.
It's terrible. Life Gems are trash. They make it an easy game.
honestly-
Dark Souls 2 is the easiest game because of Life Gems.
Honestly, if I didn't have life gems when I faced the Fume Knight, I would have died. I'm gonna honestly say that. I used 47 life gems in that fight.
Which you shouldn't be able to max out 99 life gems, 99 greater life gems, 99 huge
Radiant life gems.
Radiant life gems. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just like this. I'm
That's
just
like-
popping them for days.
That's crazy. Like there's a reason there's only one healing item, and that's the Estus flask.
Yeah.
Or the
Great heal.
Yeah,
Great
healing
heal,
spells,
heal,
great heal.
aid.
Or the blessing, the holy blessing that like fills up your
Divine blessing.
Yeah, Divine Blessing, that's what it's called. That's also a healing item, but that's really rare. And it makes it important to save your Estus flasks. With the life gems, you don't need Estus flasks for all of Dark Souls 2. You don't need them ever.
No, you don't.
As long as
And
you just use life gems.
I only use them if I was sitting in a corner and like I had a second to like do something quick.
Exactly. It's like it took away all the importance of Estus Flask in Dark Souls 2. That's why I don't like life gems. But that being said, I love how many. The reason why I put Dark Souls. No.
You're losing your train of thought.
Yeah. Well, but I just want to say one more thing about Dark Souls, and that's that the NPC storylines were really great. I really liked the way it went. You could follow certain NPC storylines and go, like, kind of out of the way of the story.
The reason why Dark Souls 1, Solaire. I'm sorry.
Solaire.
Solaire. It's that created a phenomenon.
Praise the sun.
I just want to make a statement about Solaire. Fuck Solaire, Moonboy for life.
No,
Oh my God.
No. That's a whole different topic we're gonna bring up later.
Don't worry, we're gonna beat him up after the podcast.
just violently. Okay, so next game.
Dark Souls 3.
Worst?
Bloodborne.
Going worst?
Yeah.
Whoa.
After Dark
I think
Souls,
Bloodborne.
yeah, I think Bloodborne is
Whoa.
the second best.
That one.
Oh, okay, no.
That's
yeah,
where
I think-
we're at
Wait.
in the list because we
From
went
the
Demon
bottom-
Souls,
Yeah.
and then Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, and then the next one I would put is Bloodborne.
Yeah, I agree. Bloodborne.
I'd put Dark Souls 3.
Whoa, we are like
Interesting.
teaming- Whoa, this
Yeah.
is crazy.
So-
The
It is
reason why
crazy.
I put Dark Souls 3 there is because Dark Souls 3 had the feeling mechanics of 1, but with the whole respec thing in it, like it made it kind of too simplified, but the respecking and it didn't make much of a difference. You could have the weapons and stuff to back it up, which is why I'm more okay with it in 3. And it wasn't something.
And the respecking is so out of the way.
Yeah, it's so on the way. Like most people don't even know that.
I
it
didn't.
exists.
I went through the first playthrough, didn't know you could respec. Like, just so you know, like that's how how out of the way it was.
I found respecking because I went everywhere. I went literally everywhere in my first playthrough.
Well, I just couldn't find it. I couldn't figure out how to get to the Rosario Covenant. I couldn't figure it
that
out.
really sucked how to get to
Yeah,
it.
I did figure it out eventually, but
Yeah.
it's so out of the way. It's crazy.
But I will say I do absolutely love the NPC storyline in Dark Souls 3.
Yes.
Love it. Better than Dark Souls 2. Especially with Henri and Horatio. Oh my gosh. It's incredible.
Such a sad story.
Marry her or set her free.
Yeah. That one.
No, that's waifu for life. You don't let her go.
You don't let it go.
Marrying her. Wait, are you guys.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil the story for Henri. If you marry her, you kill her. Marrying her kills her. If you don't marry her, she gets to live.
But you never see her again.
True. But she gets to live. I don't know. All I'm saying, and it's a really complex storyline. If you mess it up, you know, it's not going to work. But I have a bow only build. By the way, Dark Souls 3 is the only freaking game so far where you can have a bow only build and it can actually work. But oh wait, but
You're
Dark
going
Souls.
against Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne. Bloodborne's my next game. But to finish my thought on Henri, it's just an incredible storyline. I followed it all the way. I ended up marrying her because I was following Uria's storyline, and you have to marry her to follow her storyline to become the the Lord of Hollows. But yeah, it's crazy awesome.
I feel like Dark Souls 3 is meant for casuals.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I really think.
Minus the DLC?
Minus the
Why?
base game.
There's only maybe 2 bosses that will actually give you trouble in Dark Souls 3 non-DLC.
Which
Now,
ones?
You
The
made me feel
Nameless
like a
King
pussy.
and the Lordric Prince.
You didn't have any trouble with the dancer?
No, I had no trouble with the dancer. I beat it at level 8.
Oh,
Let's
I
talk
did.
about that.
What the heck?
I beat it.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I had trouble with
Yeah,
the
you
dancer
gotta prove that.
only because
No,
I forgot who I was playing with.
did it.
They just told me
That's
just
crazy.
to attack her like the second I went there.
That's rude.
So it's like level 5, I tried to fuck with the dancer and it did not go well. She's not a hard boss. Just
She's so different from the rest of the
I
bosses.
was not expecting the dance move
There was-
at
there-
the fight, so I didn't know how to dodge.
The two
Like,
bosses
I
that
went
gave
down.
me the headache were the prince and the brother, like the two, those, and
Prince Lothric.
yeah, and then which one was it? The one that could have a second clone, like a shadow.
Pontiff Sullivan.
Yeah, that was the.
You didn't have any trouble with Pontiff
Fuck, I
Sullivan?
whooped his ass.
Oh my
Why
God.
you gotta whip your dick out every
You're a
time
god.
you talk about this, man?
no, literally, those are the two only bosses in that game that gave me trouble, that made me almost rage from the whole series.
Dragon
Would
Slayer
a
armor?
casual have trouble with all these bosses? Would a casual, if it's
Yes.
for casuals,
A
would
casual
casuals have difficulty? Of course they
would probably should not have they might, but they should not have trouble with at least the first 3, maybe 4 bosses.
You guys are veterans, though.
That's what I said. They should not. Like the first 3 to 4 bosses, they're
I
not
don't
that
know.
hard.
Vort in the beginning, the ice guy.
Yeah,
He's tough.
I am not a
is-
casual. I have difficulty with all the bosses in all of the Dark Souls 3. It's very difficult. And like y'all are incredibly talented. I am the least talented in Dark Souls aspect. I have trouble with every boss. And I would not say I'm a casual, but I still have trouble with every boss.
I'm not saying that you won't have trouble.
I
But like
didn't-
as he was saying earlier, if you like literally Dark Souls games are all about strategy. So if Dark Souls 3 is your first one, like if you're that much of a casual player, noob casual, then yeah, you're gonna have trouble with every boss. But if you've played other ones, then you'll be able to apply a certain strategy that makes most of the bosses not as difficult.
I got Ben to play it. You know Ben never plays video games. You never see him. He got halfway through the game in 6 hours.
Ben is a strategic genius.
No,
he's never lost it in chess.
No, he has trouble playing Dark Souls 1 and 2. I got him to play those for a while. He was struggling, like, hardcore.
Well,
Dark Souls 2?
mechanically speaking, Dark Souls 3 is a masterpiece compared to all the other ones other than Bloodborne.
I agree to that.
Yes,
I'm not
I do
disagreeing.
agree with that. I can't
so,
fight that.
It's so smooth. So for Ben to hop into Dark Souls 3, the most mechanically smooth one of this Dark Souls, it's like playing with a Rubik's Cube, right? And you're struggling, and then giving them a crossword puzzle, and they can beat it. Like, that's basically, like, they're both hard puzzles, but the crossword puzzle is
Dark Souls 3
a lot
more of a
easier.
casual thing, because that's essentially what it is. Like, unless you're having major lag issues, which they've tried the best to fix it, but there's only so much they can do. 9 times out of 10,
It's true.
dealing with most bosses aren't that hard, but there's always, of course, those.
Come on, there's a boss in
Bullshit
Dark
moves.
Souls 3, one of the kings. They give you a weapon to fight with it.
You have to equip it in the battle.
Yeah, you have
It's
to equip it
not
in
that
the-
hard.
You need to stop whipping your huge dick out on the table. okay, so y'all again, y'all have mad
Pilly's
skills.
like Pilly's over here like, you know, they're bosses. There's a reason they're bosses. They're hard. And Eli's like, come on, dude, it's easy.
Yeah, like speaking as someone who doesn't have as much skill, who can't seem to like grasp it as well. It's like for everyone except for y'all with the big dick swinging around. Dark Souls is known for its difficulty for a reason.
It is.
is
It's
incredibly
considered.
difficult.
Dark Souls.
So-
The whole thing is considered the most difficult series you
We're
could play.
We're not saying that Dark Souls 3 isn't hard. We're just saying
You said it's for casuals.
out of the whole entire series, it's the most casual
That is
one.
not the same thing. Like, okay, so basically, they're not saying it's easy. They're just saying casuals could pick it up and have a decent fun time with it. Whereas if a casual picked up Dark Souls 1, they might not get out of the asylum.
Probably won't get out of this asylum.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, Dark Souls 1 is not for casuals. It's for people who want a challenge. And Dark Souls 2 is a little
Like
more for
50-50.
Dark Souls 2 is straight up casual city with the life gems.
Yes.
That's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
with life
with
gems.
life gems,
Once you figure out how to do the unlimited life gems, you're literally in like, oh, I'm healing forever.
Exactly. You could just heal forever.
There you go.
But,
Cards for days. Life
so
gems for days.
I don't think that they're saying it's easy. I just think that they're saying anyone could pick it up and have a decent fun time playing it.
To counter that, they said they only had difficulty with 2 bosses. Most players would not have difficulty except for 2 bosses.
Well,
So you
okay.
got 2 different bosses. For
I would
each
say
person,
I had a
but-
hard time with a lot of the bosses in Dark
Those
Souls
are the
3.
hardest 2 bosses. Not that people have. They should have difficulty unless they're stupid or they're just stupid like me and not quite as good and go fuck with the Dancer Bora Valley at like level 5. Then yeah, they would have an absolute shitty
Definitely a
time.
bad decision.
But like
How did you must have killed that girl on the chair, didn't you?
I fucked her up.
Yeah, I knew it. That's the only way to get her to
Yeah,
show up
that one.
that early.
When I did it the first time, I got my ass whooped. It was after like, what was it? I think I started a new
hours.
No, I spent like 10 hours playing the mechanics. Then I went and started a new character because I didn't like the character at all. So I just started brand new. Didn't spec. I just restarted a whole new character. And I went, and then I'm like, maybe I could try. It took so long. My hits, I was doing 27 damage.
Yeah, I'm sure
was
it
legit-
took like an hour and a half.
It legit, I did 27 damage per hit, one-handed. Two-handed was 56. So I was literally, for the whole game, like, dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge
Yeah.
roll.
So,
Hit, dodge,
Like
dodge.
pretty much at least what I mean by I was not sure about Eli here, but what I mean is like yeah, maybe you get to the boss and make you like the first 2 times, but since like they made it a lot more simpler with how the boss moves, it gets easier to attempt to adjust to it, and eventually it just becomes
Yeah.
like a mob, but with a shit ton of health.
Well, okay, I would say
That was a good way to word it.
Deacons of the Deep, that was the easiest boss in that.
Easiest boss.
Easiest boss I've ever
are you
faced.
telling me I'm the only one here that struggled with that boss fight?
Yes,
I
yeah.
struggled with all the boss fights. There was not
I-
a single one that I didn't die at least 20 times to every single boss fight. I've ever encountered.
Deacons of the
That's crazy.
Deep, I literally
Yeah,
beat
there's like
like
90
not knowing what the
dudes.
hell I was walking
That's
into.
exaggeration. That's
I was
exaggeration.
just
That's
I didn't
20
understand at first.
Or Horus.
Yes.
You just leave the minions to them and just look for the shadow dude. That's all you do. Like they'll make sure you don't die to the small fry. All you do is make sure the big guy doesn't fuck you up.
Damn it, maybe I'm a casual.
Like doing that solo.
I'm not a casual.
Yeah,
Didn't use summons. Can't figure out how to beat the boss.
like if you do it solo, then yeah, they're probably one of the hardest bosses because there's
That's
so
how I
many.
played.
But you use Henri and Horace in that fight, like just let them go fight the small fight and just look for the big guy.
Wait, did I call him Horatio?
You called him Horace.
Horace.
Okay, all right.
Wait, no, I think you did go.
I think I did call him Horatio.
Comment if you did call it Horatio.
Oh man. But okay, so I would say that there are the Dragon Slayer armor. Okay, all right. I have to admit, I beat like 80% of the bosses first try in Dark Souls 3. But I understand that like if I wasn't me and I wasn't like as good as I am at the games, I wouldn't have beaten them first try. I think. So what's crazy to me is the Great Tree boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you two, Eli and Tops, would you two say that's a pretty easy boss?
The first playthrough, fuck yes.
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Okay.
First playthrough is so
I-
easy. After that, it gets like so much harder.
I
like,
beat it without seeing like half of its moveset. I just killed it. I just killed it really quickly. And so, but I was talking to Henna, my brother, about it, and he had the hardest time because he didn't understand that he needed to attack the pustules, and he literally took a bow and just shot up at his face and on the pustules up on his shoulder and stuff until he beat it. And so it took him like 30 tries to beat it. And at first I was like, what? I wanted to call him trash. I really did. But he just didn't understand how to beat the boss. And so I would say like a casual walking into that boss fight and not being able to beat it kind of proves, because that's definitely one of the more easy
I have one
bosses in the
answer
game.
to that. Don't go fuck with that boss. It's optional.
That's true. It is optional.
Because the only reason why
100%.
you need to kill that one is to get like the boss
The
item.
transparent link can, which lets you take a boss's soul and turn it into a weapon or a spell, which is dope.
Well,
But if you're
But
not,
it's not needed.
true. It's not needed. And I guess it's connected to the boss technically because you fall down into that little area. But if you get to that area before you fight the boss, you unlock a covenant that you
there's
couldn't
two
get
ways
if you
to unlock
don't get it
I
You
before you
found
fight
that
the
can. There's
boss.
2 ways to unlock that covenant.
Is there anything that dude does other than just gives you the?
It gives you the
gives you an
covenant.
item? Covenant.
He's also part of the Sunless Knights storyline. That's her grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what she's been looking for like her entire life.
Oh,
You have to help her kill him
oh, I already.
because he goes hollow.
Oh, so when I met him like the first time ever, I thought I could.
You just attacked him.
I thought I could get a cool item. Like I joined the covenant, but then
Okay.
I just downright murdered him, like right
Damn.
there, and I'm like, I'm done.
You go talk to the
I'm also
sunless night girl.
just
She's
saying-
like, "Yeah, I'm trying to kill someone." And you're just like,
Yeah.
Best
Oh,
item in Dark
okay.
Souls 3 is from that covenant, though. Hands down.
What is that item? Oh wait, we'll wait. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
"Is it
When we bring up items later.
okay?"
I also think
If you
that
want.
covenant has the best weapon in the game.
I am curious, but right now
Is
we're
it the
we're
Berserker
still in
Blade?
a certain discussion.
No,
we
it's
don't want
the
to get too far off
Bloodlust.
track.
Bloodlust. That katana.
Yay.
All right.
We'll get into that later.
But so the reason why I put Bloodborne underneath Dark Souls 3 is because I love Bloodborne. Don't get me wrong, love Bloodborne. However, I think the weapon choice is super limited, and I understand that all the weapons, every single weapon in that game, is like the depth that they went into making the weapons is incredible. But when you without the DLC, there's like 12 weapons in the game. And they're all trick weapons, and they all have 2 forms, but it's still only 12. Dark Souls 3, there's like hundreds of weapons. And on top of that, weapon arts is introduced in Dark Souls 3, which is not as good as it being a trick weapon, but it's getting there. It's like a good compromise.
That, though. Most of the twin swords all have the same move. So, I mean, yeah, some are better than the others, but they're the same skill art.
But they still have a different move set. Or at least they can.
They can, but not all of them do. Yes.
Not all of them do, that's true. But it provides a way more possibility of having a unique build. I would say Bloodborne is probably the best PvP freaking Dark Souls game there is, because it was able to set up a meta, basically, because there's only 12. At first there was only 12 weapons in the game, not including the guns. There was I don't know, 16 guns or something
Guns
like
don't
that.
matter. Everyone knows bitches love cannons.
Amen to that.
But it set up this meta where you could, like, if you saw the weapon the person was using, you would know exactly what that weapon could do and how they could use it, and you could, go against it with a pretty sound strategy every time. Whereas in Dark Souls 3, there's so many different weapons. You could go against someone, never seen their weapon before, don't know what it does, don't know how to fight against it. It's just a shit show. You got to try to win no matter what.
But for me,
And also the spells and sorceries, the list of sorceries and stuff in Dark Souls 3 beats out every other Souls game. Just saying.
that's all about Bloodborne. No, where to say any spells. Like
There was, but there's only like 12 of them.
But the fact is
Maybe
that
13.
Dark Souls 3 took the idea for their spell bar from Demon Souls. So
What? How's that a bad thing?
no, it's the fact that it's taking from what we consider bad. It's taking from
And
that.
making it great.
Well, yeah, it's like just because we consider Demon Souls to be the worst one doesn't mean that there's not good things about it. I think the MP bar is really important because then it's not based on like you can only use this spell so many times. I don't really like that because then it's like a sorcerer can't be a sorcerer. A sorcerer can only be a sorcerer until he runs out of spells. Whereas with the Ashen Estus Flask and the MP bar, you can literally just have one Estus Flask and like 11 Ashen Estus Flask and straight up be a sorcerer, or a miracle user, or a pyromancy user. Like you could deep dive into that kind of build and be only that if you really wanted.
There are hexes in 2?
Yes, there are a lot of hexes in 2.
I remember that was started.
But I personally say Bloodborne's better.
There was hexes in 1.
It's because Bloodborne gives you
Very-
two
very- a small amount,
options,
though.
like two very, very solid options. The one, if you get hit, get good so you get your health back without using blood vials, or fucking pump yourself to shit with blood vials.
Holy crap! Yeah.
Yeah, blood vials are like life in that game.
Yeah.
And they were
There's so
easy to get,
many.
which is like they were easy to get, but also like they went by so quickly if you are prepared for something.
Yeah, the management in Bloodborne, I would say, is better than the other games because just between having to use blood vials to heal yourself and using bullets, you can use bullets.
Use your own health to get your.
Yeah, you
your
can
bullets.
use health to get more bullets, and then use a blood vial to recover the health you use to get more bullets, so you can use your bullets. It's crazy. It's awesome.
And the pairing mechanic in that game was
Like, that's probably the smoothest of all of them.
Beautiful.
It was fantastic.
I'm glad we all agreed on that.
But the fact is that with like Dark Souls 3, if you played Bloodborne and like you dived in hundreds of hours into it, when you walked into Dark Souls 3, you like, because the thing is like for a strength build, there was no shields. Bloodborne had no shields.
True.
So like
Well, it had one shield.
wood and plank. Okay, okay, 50% reduction. Okay, let's not even talk about that. How that's even decent.
True.
No, it's the fact that you don't like the whole idea of shields in Dark Souls 3. They focused a lot on
Yeah,
shield.
they pushed
Yeah,
it
they did.
hard.
Yeah, they pushed it hard, but if you play Bloodborne, there was no point. There was honestly no point unless they were gearing towards more casual players who don't play this game so much, so they can get into the series.
So you don't like Bloodborne for that?
No, I think Dark Souls 3 just pushed too many shields because for me, Bloodborne changed how I play.
Yeah,
It
like,
did.
It made me focus on pairing mostly.
Yeah,
Just
it focused
parry or
way
dodge.
more on the mechanics of like parrying
That's a
and,
really good
and
point.
trying to backstab than try to use the shield. Like I use a shield in Dark Souls 3, but that's only if I know this certain boss
Yeah, I knew that
is
one
good
was like-
good to use a shield
I
with.
just didn't
Yeah.
But
get-
otherwise,
they were
I
all dead
try
before
to use a
touched
great
them.
sword or like try to
I was
use
just
some
all
weapon that
hero.
doesn't require a shield.
Okay, I can definitely see the argument that Bloodborne forces players to play a different way if they don't play like that. And I do like that a lot.
Because like we'll use Pele here for example. It forces him to kind of get out of his comfort zone with the strength build because you can't just walk up to them, either attack them first or have to block them. It forces him to either parry or dodge and then do his attack that will 1 HK them.
Well, I did none of that. I didn't parry. I didn't dodge. I just if there was any chance that I saw an enemy, I would memorize where they were so that I could kill them. No one touched me because everyone was dead the moment I got into their sight.
How did you deal with bosses?
I ran. I ran until I could get to a point where I got one hit. Like, it would take me hours to fight any boss. The first, I believe it was Cleric Demon on
Yeah.
a bridge.
It's
That
like-
was
Yeah.
the
It's
biggest
like the
bitch for
first
me.
boss.
Because there's nowhere to run. And so I would just kind of run in circles, and then once he stood up, I'd run underneath him, attack his legs, and then run away. I didn't, I don't play
Hit and,
like
run,
that.
hit and
So-
run strategy. That's a strategy.
It forced you to change your strategy. Instead of just attacking them and then defending, you had to change it up. The
Yeah,
whole,
you had to
whole
get in,
play
attack,
style.
get out.
I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you
it
just
did, it did.
yeah you
So
just
blood,
pushed to the
so,
point.
so Bloodborne did make that a thing, and I do understand the fact that with the weapons, there's not a lot if you don't get the DLC. How many more weapons are in the DLC? Like 4 or 5?
No, more than that. Like six, maybe eight.
Okay, so if you get the whole thing, but the base value,
Something
yeah.
like that.
So game value altogether is 20, but with like Dark Souls like 3, just I think base game by itself was over like 120 different weapons.
Yeah,
But
a lot.
Yeah, but a lot of them just did, like, a lot of people just use the same style weapon, and I thought in Dark Souls 3, it's great to have this wide variety, but it's with the minimal one, like it's not a lot, you had to get good. You had to fine tune the weapon.
Yeah, but you had to use everyone had to use the same
First
weapons.
three weapons.
Yeah, well, I mean, in general, even to the end of the game, because there's only so many weapons, everyone had to use those weapons, and so in Dark Souls 3, you could be as unique as you want. You could use the falchion. You could go and kill the Nameless King and make his I don't remember what it's called, but it's
Like
basically just a
King of the
curved
Sword
sword
or
with
something like that.
with wind magic. But it's like you could be so unique like that. You could pick up a weapon that barely anyone uses and become a god with it, just because of your determination and hard work and your ability
But
to
that's how I
dodge
feel
and
about
block when you need to.
Bloodborne. Because whenever I do this every time now. Whenever I start a new character, just for the shits and giggles of it, I'll go from the beginning of the game all the way to the boss without using any weapons, just dodging, pistol attacking everything, no weapons. And Jimmy, I'll try to kill the boss for an hour with no weapons. And I
Use
get
your
about
fists.
halfway.
Why you gotta whip out your dick at every game? Every game, you just
That's incredible.
I only thought of it because it's
That is
Tuhi.
incredible.
Me
It's
and
very
Tuhi,
impressive.
Tuhi put out the challenge for me, so me and him both did it together. And
Yeah,
then
It's true. I did do that. It is my fault.
Okay, so we're at that point where it's like we will not we both like it. It's like Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 in that situation.
Yeah, it's
If
like
you
we
don't like
have
Dark
to
Souls
agree
2
to
for the
disagree.
life gems, then Bloodborne was that same aspect. What was it called? The items that heal you. You get 25
The blood vials?
blood vials. Every third enemy, you picked up a blood
Well, you
vial.
only get
Not
20.
necessarily.
The thing is, you only
you
the
only
max
carry
is
20
20.
at a time, and only to get more is the blood vials essentially the Estus flask. You had more than you get with the Estus flask,
But they don't heal as much.
But they don't heal as much, and on top of that, if you use pumped 5 of them, and then there's no place to rest from
Yeah. The
most of
lanterns
the
are
map,
so few and far between in
you're
Bloodborne
screwed.
that if you just use your blood vials recklessly, you're totally screwed.
Like-
And every other enemy might drop them. Well, actually, so it's interesting. There are some areas in Bloodborne where certain enemies will drop blood vials more often. Like the big wolves, they'll drop blood vials more often. They could drop 4 or 5, maybe 6 blood vials if you get really, really lucky. Well, maybe not. Yeah, no, I think anyway. But there are some areas where very little,
scarce.
very few enemies drop blood vials, but they'll drop bullets
for
and
days.
they'll drop other items, and so I think they did a really good job of balancing it out. Where some areas you're yeah, I could pump myself all day with blood vials because every other one of you drops them, But you get to certain areas and it's I used all my blood vials.
and all you're getting is bullets.
I'm fucked.
You can't use bullets to heal yourself. So at that point, your only plan of attacks becomes to parry them.
Yeah, and you're basically
Yeah.
spending the next hour or two parrying, and then you get that one blood vial. It's praise
And
the
it's
sun,
oh man,
praise
I
the
gotta
sun.
save this. I gotta save this.
And then you use
I
it.
just got hit.
And you gotta use it. Because, yeah.
And also created this whole thing about where I memorized the places with a lot of enemies that drop blood vials, because if I'm in another area and I run out of blood vials and there's no more in my storage, I'm gonna go there, farm out like 100 blood vials, come back and try again.
Well, that and we would just respect
Well, then you're
a
doing
spot.
what?
Well, okay, so if you get more blood vials than you can hold on your person, it automatically goes to the storage.
And then when you
so when
die,
you die, it
it
fills
refills
up
it.
your blood vials for you.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really cool that they put that into Bloodborne. They also put that into Dark Souls 3, but not as heavily.
Yeah.
I also
really
kind of
cool.
expect that, like
Like with
legitimately,
arrows.
the only, like, legitimately, pretty much the only healing item, though I mean, there were a few others in Bloodborne, was the blood vials. Like, there was no other way to heal yourself.
Yeah, There's maybe one or two other items other than blood vials that could heal you, but super, super rare. And it made it very important. Like, maybe you did have a lot of blood vials, but it was still really important to manage them because it was the only thing that could help you, health-wise.
Because, like, it was, like, some of the areas, like, there's maybe 2 lanterns in the whole entire area from the beginning to the boss.
Yeah.
And so you
Maybe
can
two.
manage
Maybe
your-
only one, actually.
Some only had one, so you'd manage 20 blood vials going from one lantern all the way to the boss, and then still hope you have enough to fight the boss.
Yeah, maybe you used all your blood vials before you even got to the boss, and now you have to fight a boss. You know, that you've never seen before, don't know how to fight. Like Father Gascoigne. Oh my god.
He was
I
straight
had
up
no
fucking
trouble with
bullshit.
I had so much trouble.
What?
So
Why?
much.
Why?
Only because,
The-
like, every time me and two, we mostly, we went through most of Bloodborne together. And Father Gascon, for some odd reason, we would straight up dodge a shotgun blast, but he'll, like, lag into it and still shoot us. Or his werewolf form, we dodge that, and somehow he's just right behind us, just eating our booty hole like groceries.
Yeah.
Booty.
That booty hole.
Booty
But,
hole.
I would say that the biggest reason that Father Gascoigne gave me a lot of trouble was because I got really cocky and I tried to parry every one of his attacks when he was in human form. I even try to parry him when he's in wolf form because you can do it. I wanted to do it.
The challenge
And I
was
would
set.
die.
I don't know. Like, I went up to him and just, as soon as I got a chance, I wrecked his shit. And when he tried to attack, I would just go behind him and then wreck his shit. And then he turned into a wolf, and I wrecked his shit, and it was done. That's the only boss in any of the Soul series that I beat the first time.
That's
First time I
crazy.
saw it.
But
That's
honestly,
awesome.
in Bloodborne, I would say
I feel proud.
the hardest boss, I can't remember his name. Yes, he doesn't have a name. It's the one for the Crow's Covenant. Not Covenant. It was pretty much Covenant.
Wait,
is what they're
in
called.
what?
In
The one you have to,
Bloodborne.
like, run.
Oh.
He runs away from you.
No, the one where she's like, yeah, I'm hunting this guy, and then you
Oh, he's
go-
not even a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
not
just
even
a
boss.
guy.
He's just some
Oh my
random
god.
guy.
He's the hardest NPC in the entire game.
He's like literally boss level, but he's not
He has
boss.
the katana called the Chikage, and he can, he's got a sheath full of blood, and he puts his katana in the sheath and covers it in blood, and it hurts him, but it makes him more powerful. He is so hard. I would say he's harder than 90% of the bosses in that game. Holy crap. He's so hard to defeat. And the only way you can get the blades that from the Crow Girl, her name is Elaine, I believe. The only way to get her weapon without killing her is to kill him. Yeah.
And the easiest way to kill him is still not simple at all. Like
He's so difficult.
It's
There's
to
no
stop him
tricks.
from healing himself. Like that's the only trick. But it still matters if you damaging him and him not hitting you. Because if he hits you with your gun, 9 times out of 10 you're dead.
Dead.
Ooh.
Okay.
Super powerful.
So
Sounds like a solo
what is our
game.
stance here? Are we gonna is this finalized? Like we're gonna put this as what we think?
Yeah, I think so. So for me and Pilly, our list goes from worst to best. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, then Dark Souls 2, then Bloodborne, then Dark Souls 3.
Man, for me and Tops, it's Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne. So
Yeah.
leave a comment. What do you think? What's your list? If you've played them, if you legitimately have played them, which one do you? What's your list? Leave a comment down there so we can know what you guys feel, because we were having this great discussion about this series.
Yeah.
And with
great
the
series.
series, okay, honestly, what is the worst death you got in any of the games?
Fighting a boss and then just backstepping off the edge and killing myself. Literally, legitimately one hit from killing the boss, and I backstepped off. Never got that close again for the longest time.
Sounds about right.
This one's the most recent one. In Dark Souls 3, the PvP system, if you didn't pick up your souls previously, before you went into a PvP fight, you lost those souls. And I had 126,000 souls. My friend was teaching me how to parry with a Kestis. He accidentally kills me. And the amount of souls I had, I could have leveled up 5 times.
God, man, that's terrible.
So that's one of the
It's like, oh, you want to spar? Sorry, you're dead.
No, and he's like, oh no, you got your souls right? No, they were halfway through this area. Oh, sorry.
I was just trying to get you to get good. What about you, Pill?
Accidentally hitting Andre.
Oh no! It is death itself.
It's death itself!
Oh, there's no way you're saving. You gotta delete that character. Get a new character.
Yes.
Andre is
get good, yo.
God.
You can't get good after that.
No. It's
Yeah,
like
he's
get
too
good at restarting your games every time you do that.
Holy crap.
There's no respect value in that one.
No respect value. There's nothing you can do to fight Andre. He'll just beat you. That's it. I would say that my worst death in all of the games. Yeah. Okay. So there are some ways to cheese bosses, in Dark Souls 3, and I had fought this boss, and I got wrecked so hard that I was like, I have to cheese this boss, and so I tried to get into position for cheesing the boss. I had all my souls in the boss room. Because I wasn't going to go in there because I'm trying to cheese the boss. And I went to get into position, and I fell off the edge. And all of my souls were gone.
That's what happens when you cheese.
That's what happens when you cheese.
You get wrecked, bitch. I'm sorry.
Dark Souls is lactose intolerant.
Lactose
intolerant.
No cheesing in this place.
No cheese in here.
I also have one more comment to make about Bloodborne. Doesn't say it could be better than Dark Souls, but it was the best mechanic in my opinion. Is that finding your echoes and that was a mystery on where it was.
Oh yeah, it could be
because
picked up by the
random
enemy.
enemies will pick it up and just fuck off somewhere.
I agree. I like that.
That made it.
And it's obvious who has it.
Yeah, because the
Yeah, and it's the fact that if that was the character you died by, it's like we're meet again.
It's like, it's like, oh, I'll take it this time, and
it
then you
gives you
die,
that
and
revenge feeling, which is amazing.
it is pretty great.
But yeah, best weapon. In your
Yeah,
opinion,
Ooh.
I was gonna say that.
of all of them
Best weapon.
of the entire series.
Oh dear.
Falcon.
You like the Falchion?
I love the Falchion. It's so good. With the spinny. It's my favorite.
Spinny. Only in Dark Souls 3.
Okay, there's a lot of weapons in like the games that I love, and the one weapon that I continuously use through each playthrough, like I don't even like argue with it. If I can get it, I will get it. Butcher's knife.
I knew you were gonna say Butcher's knife.
Well,
The thing that I hated about it was that in Dark Souls 1 you can go to plus 15 with it.
Yeah.
In Dark Souls 3, only plus 5.
Only +5. Yeah.
And in Dark Souls 2, kind of the same.
I
Plus,
think,
plus 5.
Because
That-
it was a Twinkling Titan.
Yeah, but I wish, like, in Dark Souls 3, they brought it to, like, the plus 10. Because that would have
Yeah.
made it so much stronger. I had to ditch
That's
it.
another thing that Dark Souls 1 has over all the games is that their weapon reinforcement system was it was more complicated, but it was a lot better than the other ones.
Yeah, I love that one. But Butcher's knife,
That's also why-
7
in
hits
my
on a
opinion,
40 endurance, or like 40 endurance with stamina. I could get 8 hits out of it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
8 hits.
And it has the crazy thing about the Butcher's knife, it naturally has the ability to take the HP of your foe and give it to you with every hit.
whoa.
Yeah, so that's what I loved. I love that weapon.
I mean, it's not like OP, you
no.
know, obviously, but it's still there.
I suppose can I change my answer? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I
The
guess.
Falchion is my favorite weapon, but I'd say the best weapon would be, I can't fully remember, but there were these maces you had, Tops.
Oh,
gave
Dual
you health
mace?
regeneration.
the
What?
Oh, is this in Dark Souls 3?
Yeah.
I
and they
made
would give
the-
health
the one with the
generation.
circle?
made them blessed. They were like the
Oh, they were
Durang
blessed.
maces.
So in Dark Souls 3, any weapon that's blessed does that.
A blessed weapon, definitely the best weapons, because health is so hard to get. So if you can just get HP regen, well, it's so good. It's too good. It's the
My
best.
friend Doug set up a character where everything he had on it had health regeneration.
Nice.
It was ridiculous. He's trash at the game, so he needed it.
He's the type of player like
Just
me.
saying.
No.
Strength build. Strength build.
No, you're better.
No, you're better.
Oh,
You're
thank
better.
you.
No, it's
He tries to be more like a paladin. Like he tries to be the cleric.
He's like the
And-
paladin the paladin in the back that tells people to fight for him.
Unless he is the
Paladins
host.
don't sit in the back.
No, I mean that's what he thinks. That's what he does.
Unless
He's
the
like, I'm a
host.
paladin, and he sits in the back and lets the summons fight the boss for him.
He's not
No.
a paladin.
That's when
That's
he's,
what he calls
that's when
himself.
He's a
Oh,
summoner.
so he's a fool. I see.
He's a fool.
Yeah, fool.
That's his class.
Does anyone
That's
else,
his
just in
class.
my first opinion, do that? If you're the host, do you go charging in at the fells and when you're phantom, you sit back and let the host fight?
no. You fight to the death. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You.
I think
you,
either way, it's like a fight. It's like it's just a lot of teamwork. It's just a lot of working
No,
together.
you know
but
you,
Doug's not
you
like
sit
that.
there. You sit there. You're playing by yourself. You're playing like either Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3, or any of them really, and you're just sitting there. You summon two people online and one NPC. You got a full team, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go in, charge in. Then the minute you walk in, you see one of those people you got online just crushed and like half their health. Going like, nope, I'm backing up a little. I'm backing up a little.
No.
But then you realize these guys are like wanting to work together. They're like, come on.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like
mean, you gotta go in with them.
you gotta go
all
in. You gotta go in. Dark
I
Souls.
mean, don't be an idiot. If you're the host, like, choose your life over there.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, let them take most of it, but go in there and get some hits in
They're
there.
not really gonna die. They're not gonna lose their souls.
No.
Yeah.
But you don't want them to die. You know, you want to
Yeah,
help.
You want them to get the reward for killing the boss too.
Yeah.
That's like with the Fume Knight. Like, my friend and me, we went through it. He died with 4 hits left. And it was just me, because we found another NPC. We're like, this Fume Knight's gonna be impossible. This guy was using Kestis. This legit dude was using
Yeah.
Kestis.
I think it's a girl, isn't
Yeah, I don't know. I
it?
don't.
NPC, I think she's a
No,
girl.
but the person was like just casting the whole time, and like they died, and it's like okay. My friend immediately, like 2 hits later, died. I'm like, he's like, sorry, bro, and I'm like, I hate you. So literally for like 5 minutes, I'm like trying to just get 4 hits, legit 4 hits with my weapon, and I'm like, ah! And I got the 4 hits, and I'm like, praise the sun, praise the sun. Wait,
Praise the sun.
Well,
Where's the sun in this dark place that I am?
depression. But I was happy when I did that. And that's what makes it fun is when you get in there with other people. I think that's why the multiplayer aspect was even introduced in the games.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, on top of the fact that it's so
Some
difficult.
people could.
Some people can't do it solo. Yeah.
But yeah, for me personally, I don't have just one favorite weapon. I have 2. Both of them are Dark Souls 3 that are just absolutely fucking amazing, in my opinion. The Bloodlust that you give from the Malmaker's Covenant.
Bloodlust was
Spoiler
also in
alert.
Dark Souls 2, by the way.
That's what it was? Yeah.
That's the one that takes your health away. Like you literally Jimmy stab yourself. It makes like
That's the Chikage.
it's a Chikage in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Just in Dark Souls 3. And the other one, I can't remember the name of it. Twin Great Swords, the DLC weapons. I'll never put those
Freaking
weapons
monstrous, dude.
down.
Holding
Never.
two great swords,
Whoa.
giant swords, one in each hand, just flipping around like they ain't shit.
Yeah.
They don't weigh anything.
Would that be?
40.
Oh!
But
I need it.
okay,
And it's like
My life.
26 to 30 dexterity on it.
I know. It's literally, you're basically putting 76 levels into this. 66 to 70 levels into this. It's like, I need this
crazy.
weapon in my life.
I don't care if I'm a sorcery builder, I'm still having those weapons on me every time. It's worth it.
my best weapon
The best.
in all the games, Great Scythe.
Great scythe.
I'm
Great
just
Scythe
saying-
from Dark Souls 1 specifically.
You know what I saw?
I'm just saying, Sister Feast's great size are better.
Okay, it's pretty amazing.
but
But
Is
it's
it
no
possible
Great
to
Scythe
get
from Dark
Priscilla's
Souls 1.
scythe?
No,
I've heard it was.
Dark
but I-
Souls.
Yeah, you can use your soul, I think.
I like Dark Souls 1 where after you go through the catacombs and find the guy who can make your weapon into fire, just add fire to that. Literally, it's the most OP.
To the Great Scythe?
Yeah.
No. It gets rid of the scaling. So I'm like, it's not just that I'm a dex build, it's that I put almost all of my points into dex. And so when I pick up the Great Scythe, if anything takes away from the dex scaling, it's trash. Screw that. I'm not doing it. Like, no
I
offense.
see how it is.
Not doing it. Because, like, when you can go against Artorias with just a Great Scythe and beat him in less than 20 hits, like,
What the heck?
Yeah,
down. Great Scythe's
wait.
incredible.
What plus? What plus?
plus 15, of course.
You know, I walked into that DLC with like plus 10 weapons, and I literally beat three of them solo, and like Artorias was my only problem.
Artorias is he's
But
difficult.
Manus' 6-hit combo was murder.
Manus is...
That 6-hit
Oh,
combo
man.
was legit murder. Like, I was ready to cry every time I went to face that boss.
A lot of bosses have like 3-4 hit combos. That's bullshit.
Six-
Manus has a 6-hit combo.
6-hit combo that can take,
That's
if you're
nothing
level
on
100. I was
That's why
level,
you need...
if I was
oh,
level,
yeah, that's true.
I was level 100. I didn't level up through the whole DLC. I wanted to see how well I could do. It took legit 3/4 of my health away on a 6-hit combo.
How many
Holy
souls did
crap.
you lose not leveling up at all?
I lost probably 4 million souls.
It's a lot of souls.
Yeah.
Probably
Comparison to the kind
give
of
up.
souls you get. No, it isn't.
Yeah, well, I don't lose my souls.
Yeah, you do.
Okay,
Don't lie
every
to
once
me.
in a while, I lose like a couple 100,000, and I cry for months, and then I get back on.
For months. No.
No.
Okay. On the table right now, easiest boss in the whole series.
Gascoigne.
Screw you.
How the Gascoigne?
Mm,
Gargonzola.
Gargonzola!
Father Gargonzola. Easiest boss. I'm not sure. Come back to me.
Well, to me, I honestly think, let's see. I think it was a Dark Souls. I think it was Dark Souls 1 boss or Dark Souls 2 boss. I'm trying to remember the name. Oh, what game it came from.
What kind of boss? What do you look like?
Gosh, I can't remember. Come back to me for a sec.
Okay, all right. Easiest boss, I'm calling it right now. In Earthen Peak in Dark Souls 2, there's a blob. Easiest boss in all of it. Easiest boss.
What about that? Oh, what is it called? I think it's also in Earthen Peak. Is it like a fish-looking thing?
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just rolls?
It just rolls.
So easy.
So easy.
I still think Gascoigne's easy.
I'm calling it.
Like, it was minutes.
Nah.
I think it was gone in minutes.
I killed that thing in seconds.
You scale hard. Like, you deal
I do.
more damage
I go
than
all
can
scaling.
deal
Scaling
in
is so
everything.
important to me.
Okay. There was this boss in Demon Souls.
Oh.
Legit already had a wound on it when you walked into the room. And you hit it, it's still losing health.
Holy crap.
So it already has a problem, and then you just kill it.
That's crazy. Oh, actually, you know what? There's an easier boss.
What?
And it's also in Dark Souls 2. The Last Giant. Easiest boss. Hands down.
I have to give it to you.
Oh, I get it, because he rips his hand.
Yorm? Oh, because of the weapon.
Yeah.
It's...
Like as long
And
as
if
that
you and if
thing-
you get Sigvard to
like if you have
to
Se-
come with
Sigurd
you,
there
it's even
you,
easier.
He has the Stormcaller on him, so if you
Yeah,
don't
he
have
already has
yours,
the Storm Ruler.
He'll fuck him up with the Storm Ruler. Or even if you even actually get another person to help you, they're gonna have.
They'll
a Storm
probably
Ruler on
already
them.
have it.
So then literally, Yorm the Giant just getting Storm Rolled every 5 seconds. He can't be moved.
Okay. What about you? What was yours, Billy?
Gascoigne from
Gascoigne.
Bloodborne.
Father Gascoigne from Bloodborne, the one that turns into a wolf in the cemetery.
Yeah, no, that's such bull.
Yeah. How is that? You're
I'm
just a
pretty sure I
badass.
I'm pretty sure I just didn't see all of his moves.
You're just awesome.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just a badass like that.
yeah. I died like 5 times against him.
Not
Oh
that-
my god, I died too
you-
many times to count.
You're just the type of character. You're the merciless type of person. Whereas we're the cocky was like, yeah, give us your best move. We'll still dodge. You're just like, I don't want to see it.
I died.
Yeah,
I died. I died.
Me and Tom's walk in like, all right, what's your most powerful move? Use it. And you walk in like, you're dead right now.
Okay, hardest final boss.
Oh. I'm gonna go with it's kind of a toss up for me between Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of.
Gurma?
Nishandra?
Nishandra's Dark Souls 2.
That's the one. That's the one for me. It's just...
Oh.
Okay, because fighting the two dudes before her and then her,
You don't have to do it that way.
you don't?
No.
How?
So Nishandra only shows up after you do a certain thing, and if you beat those two before you do that thing, Nishandra. It's like, so you have to go back and so you don't have to go into the memory and defeat the giant king.
Yes.
But if you beat the two people before you go beat him, you don't have to fight Nishandra immediately afterwards. And then you can go to the same boss room and then just fight Nishandra. So that's why I don't think that Nishandra is the hardest. Especially since, obviously, she does have those curse things, but you just have to hit them and they go away. You know, it's just a lot of strategy.
Yeah,
Whereas,
them,
like,
definitely I agree.
yeah, so, because Nishandra's like, for a final boss, she's very slow. You know, she's not quick moving or anything. But, like, Gurman in Bloodborne as a final boss, holy crap, he's so difficult. He's quick, he's precise, he does a shit ton of damage. Oh my gosh, he's incredibly hard. And if you unlock the other ending and fight the moon deity, it's even harder than him. And then in Dark Souls 3, the final boss
Lords.
is the Lord
Cinder
of
Lord.
the Land of Cinder.
The Cinder Lord?
Mm-hmm.
Lord of Cinder?
The Lord of Cinder. Yeah, he or it's like the Soul of Cinder or something like that.
I just hate the fact that he comes back. You have to face him again.
Yeah, he's so you
Like,
have to
literally
take
kill
his health
him,
point
like, all the
down,
way
health bar down,
and then he like falls down dead and just flares to life.
Yeah.
Again, and then
and then all of his moves, he has the same moves except they're more difficult and do more damage.
With a lot of fire, way more fire.
Yeah, with way more fire. And so I would give it to him. I would give it to the Soul of Cinder as the most difficult boss, but I still soloed him. Get with it.
I still
Screw you,
I still
screw
give
you.
it to Bloodborne.
Which one?
Bloodborne was so fucking.
It's so difficult.
Moon Deity or Gurm?
All
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, they're
All of
both
them.
really difficult.
Just cry. Just like
Because
you.
like by the time you mostly 9 times out of 10, unless you're really good at dodging, which some of the stuff is bullshit to dodge in that
yeah,
game.
some of it is really
By
hard
the time
to
you
dodge.
get to them, you're down at least 5, if not 10 blood vials going
Yeah.
into this boss fight. And
It's-
most times
it's
you're also
very
down
difficult.
bullets because you're just trying to parry them and get them out the way. And
Yeah,
it's-
you can parry Gurman.
like the small fry.
oh,
Like you're down bullets trying to parry them to get them out the way so they don't take your blood vials. And it's a
wait.
hassle.
In Bloodborne,
Yeah.
there are no minions in the boss fight.
No, before you get to the boss fight is what I'm saying.
You just in the dream. You just go in the dream to fight the final boss. You know, in the cemetery.
Hmm.
Who are you fighting?
Oh fuck! I was thinking wrong boss, but yeah,
Oh.
he's also a pain in the ass because the fucking flying.
Yeah, he flies around. Oh my gosh, he's very difficult. Gurman is very, very difficult. Really well made boss. Very difficult.
Like first form, you think it's a cakewalk, but the second form, like it's probably the biggest.
Yo,
jump.
you thought it was a cakewalk? The first form, I couldn't
form
beat
wasn't-
it for a while.
I beat the first form on my first try, and I got the second form, shattered my hopes and dreams. I couldn't get past. Couldn't get past the first form.
I love
Like,
it. Shatters my hopes and dreams. Just
Ladies
like
and
my
gentlemen,
hopes and
If
dreams.
you could see how many times he has whipped his dick out on the table and just slapped me in the face with it.
So,
both
that's
literally
easy.
and figuratively speaking.
so I would say that reminds me of in the Dark Souls 3 DLC. There's the Frida. That boss fight is crazy because there's 3 stages. So me and Tops beat the first stage together. And we were like, okay, the second stage, we expected that. And we finally beat the second stage, and we are like, oh, we're done. And then they got back up. We were like, no.
We had no Splash, no
No more
no
Estus
P,
Blast,
like we
no
were
MP, no anything. We just...
on
It was
Death Door
terrible.
already.
You're looking at your rings. Like, are these rings worth it? Can I find some regen rings? Nope, nothing. Crap.
it's over.
Praise the
It's
sun.
over.
And that third form doesn't give you it like
It doesn't give you any room to breathe.
none. Like if she's gone, run.
Yeah, like if you can't see her, don't stop moving. You're
It's
gonna die.
it's like that meme. You hear that? Dun dun dun. Run. Dun 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 dun. You just run. Run for days. Run for days.
Yeah, those vines. Rip Vine.
Rip Vine. Twitter, you're a bastard. I'm just gonna say that
Yeah, screw Twitter.
because they bought it and just killed
Bought
it.
it and killed it. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of Dark Souls.
So, overall, we got our best weapons out. We got easy. What is, like, to you, a monumental moment in the Dark Souls series? Like, for you, what was the biggest achievement for you. For me, it was beating Dark Souls 1. Like, beating every boss. Because that was so hard. Like, when I got to Manus, I'm like, what boss do I got left? I just got the final boss. And I'm just sitting there, like, I'm just looking at, like, in that black abyss area. I'm like, I got one more boss. I walk through there. I see just Black Knights. I'm like, I practiced so long against you people. I am going to kill you. I, like, literally backstabbed every...
the Dark Wraiths.
Yeah. Just literally backstabbed everything. And then I got to the final boss, and I'm like, I'm ready. And I forgot I did the Covenant thing, the Sage Solaire. So I'm like...
So you got to use Solaire.
Solaire, but Solaire died.
Oh, man.
Like, in the first, like, 2 minutes of the fight.
You
So I
know-
literally had to learn how to parry quick. But
Okay, so you know how I beat Gwyn?
how?
In Dark Souls 1? I parried him, and I backstabbed him to death. That's how I beat him.
I backstabbed him, like, 4 or 5 times. But it was the fact that...
You had no chance.
You got no breathing. You have no breathing room.
Yeah. Gwyn, he almost didn't even hit me. The whole boss fight. I just kept parrying him.
This ain't a Dark Souls 2 DLC fight. Come on. We're not doing seppuku here.
Seppuku!
That's
For me,
yeah.
I had to give it to the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3. Legitimately, I went through the entire game in like maybe 2 months. The Nameless King took me like 3 months to beat.
That's ridiculous.
First form, super easy. Just the second form,
Second form is very difficult.
I could not dodge that to save my life. Like, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't dodge.
Mhm.
Late dodge, early dodge, block, none of it.
Yeah, he had a really good balance of move in his moveset where some moves would attack immediately and some moves would had a delay, and he would use them in a way that's like it's really hard to dodge him at the right time. He's a very difficult boss. I think that the biggest achievement I have in the Dark Souls series, I think it would have to be. I don't know. When I first started playing Dark Souls 1, I didn't know it was going to be as big as it was. And so when I figured out that it was a world as expansive as it is, it became like this entirely new adventure that I wasn't expecting, but I was totally willing to go on. And so I think I would have to make beating Dark Souls 1 my biggest achievement, just because it was so special to me. Because it became, it turns, like, I thought it was just a small game in that asylum, and it was going to end after I beat the boss, because it was like $5 when I bought it. And then it ended up being this huge game, and I was like, I had no idea what I was falling into, and I went into it, and I did everything, and I beat all the bosses, and I got to Gwyn, and it felt like the end of a very fulfilling, very like awesome adventure, a journey that I just wasn't expecting, but ended up going on anyway. And so beating Gwyn, especially since I just parried the shit out of him, like just destroyed his life. Like,
You have 40 hours of parrying.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
like
I had
you
so
have
much
all your
experience.
time and effort. Those silver nights. Like
Yeah,
you,
those
you
silver
spend
nights
a
and
few
black
hours
nights.
on that. It's like my parrying is ready. I'm ready.
Parrying level 99.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to dominate. Pilly, what about you?
Y'all's were so pretty. But, like, personally, for me, it was definitely beating... I can't remember his name, but in Dark Souls 1, when you go down that very long staircase, like spiral staircase, there's a dude with a dragon's tooth. Havel, yes.
Havel the Rock.
When I finally beat Havel, and I'm talking, like, I was about to fight... what was the
Tar's
boss?
Demon.
No. You were probably late game.
Yeah, way late game. Like, I was in the library, the archives.
Oh, the Duke Archives. So you're probably gonna fight Seed Scalers, huh?
That's the one. I was trying to think of the Scaleless Dragon, but yes, I was about to fight him, and I was like, one more try. And after every boss, I went back to him. And I'm not a Zax build. I don't dodge. I block. And so when he smashes me with that, down tilt, I get wrecked. And so when I finally got my poise high enough that I could take a hit and then hit him, and then just run away for a second, and then take a hit, and it took forever. But finally, when I got him down, and I got that backstab kill, it was the greatest moment in all of my soul's history.
Okay,
It's
so
beautiful. He's hard.
so
You know how
for-
I beat him? Parries.
no, so he
Shit. Fuck it.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you walk down those stairs, were you when you first played? Were you concerned about the stairs?
I was terrified. I was like, why are these stairs so long?
I opened the door
I
and I
wasn't.
just saw stairs. I just saw stairs and I was like, okay. And then I saw him like, oh, who are you? And
I'm
then
an NPC.
no, and then like it walked up to me, wham, one hit. I'm like, I'll be back later. I will be I'll be back momentarily.
You're just like,
60 levels later. You
didn't
know
have
what?
to
You're
do
dead.
that.
You're dead.
I was determined to kill him. Like, the second I went down the stairs, I was like, stairs always lead to good things. There's treasure down here. That's all I have. I was like, okay. Like, about 10 minutes in, still didn't hit me. I was mostly just dodging him, trying to backstab him. Did a few parries, terrified of my life.
yeah.
Hit me once, I died. After that, I did not advance on to the storyline until I beat him.
So you level up to get good, or you just got good at the moment? It's like,
Yeah,
I gotta do it.
When I went down there, I fought him. I also died one hit, and I was just like, you didn't have to do that. you didn't. I'll be back. And so I respawned, came back, put on a shield for once, a parrying shield.
Record this moment. The Dex Bill put on a shield.
Yeah, the shield was real.
It wasn't to block, it was to parry.
We hear all those excuses.
No.
Join us.
You will join the strength side of the shields.
No.
No, he'll kill us before that happens.
I will do 100% sorcery build before I do a
Hey,
freaking dex
Don't
build.
diss on sorcery, but I do Dex sorcery for life.
No, I'm talking 100% sorcery.
I
Like,
can
don't
not.
use physical weapons at all.
Strength sorcery.
Remember, I challenged you to do that.
It
Sorcery only.
Yeah,
You
in Dark
got
Souls 2, dude.
pretty
I got
good.
pretty far. That's hard, dude. It's very difficult.
So, I feel like we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up for this podcast. Thank you guys for joining. I really do appreciate this special like episode of Dark Souls because I don't talk to you guys much about Dark Souls that often.
Yeah.
We don't
Exactly,
see a lot of each other.
It's a
so
dormant passion.
yes, it's one of those passions where you're like you'll sit there and you'll talk about it and then you go, I want to play with those guys again.
Yeah, I want to play.
I want to
If you
play.
bring it up in public, everybody knows about it, but nobody talks about it because it's not really shameful. It's just like a
It's just
don't
that
wanna
no
be-
one's good enough to get far enough to know that much. But we are.
No, we're people who've actually beaten games, so
Yeah.
it's like we can put that on our resume. What did you do in your career? Dark Souls 1, 3, 2, Bloodborne. I beat all these games.
you're hired. You what? Get in
You
here.
what?
Get in your
No, like
Your
my
determination,
goal by the
motivation.
end, by the end of the year is hooking up my PS3 and beating Demon Souls.
Oh my
I
god.
want
You know
to
what?
so bad,
We-
but I get so pissed at that.
No, that is a goal. That is a
I
goal.
want to
I
join
got
you on
rid of the
that because
game.
I will not do it again. Oh, what? You
Like,
got rid of it?
I got rid of that
No,
game.
I still have it. I bought it at Hastings for $6.
We bought it at GameStop for like $5.
Yeah, it was
but,
like $4 or $5.
We tried legitimately for like 2 months. We tried beating just the one freaking
Just the
boss.
one spider boss.
And I sounds
We
like,
could not
But-
beat it.
Suki would never
But
touch
that
this
is a
game again.
goal. But I really do appreciate you guys coming out and doing this podcast. It's really good. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, that like button, and leave a comment. Really, what is your top your ratings for the series? What's your favorite weapon? And what was your hardest and easiest boss in the game? Just answer the questions in the comments as always. From the Gaming Network podcast, I'm Eli. You guys have a great day and game on.